A black woman opened the door for a man to enter a store, and he humiliated her. Days later, he saw her getting into a luxury car and couldn't believe who had mistreated her. The bustling streets of downtown teemed with life. Cars honked impatiently, street vendors called out their wares, and people moved in a hurried, almost chaotic rhythm. Among the throngs of pedestrians, a young black woman named Maya stood out, not for her appearance but for the calm, dignified way she carried herself. Maya was dressed modestly in a simple navy blue dress and comfortable flats. Her hair was pulled back into a neat bun, and her eyes, though serene, carried a hint of the exhaustion that comes from working multiple jobs and dreaming big dreams. She was on her way to the bookstore, one of her few escapes from the relentless grind of her daily life. As she approached the entrance of the bookstore, she noticed a man walking briskly behind her. He was impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, his polished shoes clicking authoritatively against the pavement. Maya reached the door first and instinctively held it open for him, a small act of courtesy she didn't think twice about. The man, however, barely glanced at her. As he crossed the threshold, he scoffed, his lips curling into a sneer. "You people are always trying to get something for free, aren't you?" he muttered under his breath, just loud enough for her to hear. His eyes flickered with disdain as he took in her modest attire, and then he walked away without so much as a thank you. Maya stood there, her hand still on the door, her heart pounding in her chest. She felt a wave of humiliation wash over her, followed quickly by a surge of anger. But instead of reacting, she took a deep breath and released the door, letting it close behind her. She reminded herself that his words reflected his character, not hers. She wouldn't let this stranger's prejudice define her day. Inside the bookstore, the atmosphere was a soothing contrast to the chaos outside. The scent of fresh paper and the quiet hum of whispered conversations enveloped her like a comforting blanket. Maya wandered through the aisles, her fingers trailing along the spines of books, seeking solace in their potential stories. As she perused the shelves, her mind drifted to a conversation she had with her best friend, Jasmine, just a few nights ago. They had sat on Maya's tiny balcony, sipping tea and sharing their dreams under a starlit sky. "You're going to make it big one day, Maya," Jasmine had said, her voice filled with conviction. "You're one of the smartest, hardest working people I know. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." Maya had smiled, her heart warmed by her friend's unwavering support. "Thanks, Jazz. It's just hard sometimes, you know? People look at me and they see a stereotype. They don't see the late nights studying or the hours spent working 2 jobs." Jasmine had reached over and squeezed her hand. "Their ignorance is their loss. You're a queen, and one day they'll see it." Maya held onto that memory as she selected a book and made her way to the cashier. She paid for her purchase and left the store, her spirits lifted slightly by the simple act of buying herself a new book. Outside, the city was just as lively as before. As she walked down the street, Maya's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of her phone buzzing in her purse. She pulled it out and saw a text from her mother, "dinner at 7? Love you, Maya smiled and typed back a quick response before slipping the phone back into her bag. She continued her walk, her steps purposeful yet unhurried. She passed by the high-end stores and restaurants, the places that, for now, were beyond her reach. But Maya didn't mind. She knew that her current situation was just one chapter in her life story. There were many more to be written, and she was determined to be the author of her own destiny. Lost in her thoughts, she almost didn't notice when a sleek, black car pulled up to the curb beside her. The window rolled down, and a familiar voice called out, "Maya! Hey, Maya!" She turned to see her cousin, Andre, leaning out of the driver's side window, a wide grin on his face. Andre was a successful lawyer and one of Maya's biggest supporters. "Hey, Dre," she replied, her smile genuine and bright. "Need a ride?" "I'm heading to Mom's for dinner," he said, motioning to the passenger seat. Maya nodded and hopped into the car, feeling a rush of gratitude for her family's support. As they drove through the city, they chatted about their days, their plans, and their dreams. Andre's success was a source of inspiration for Maya, a reminder that with hard work and determination, she too could achieve her goals. They pulled up to their aunt's house, where the warm glow of the porch light welcomed them home. As they walked inside, Maya felt a sense of peace settle over her. She was surrounded by love and support, and she knew that no matter what obstacles she faced, she had a strong foundation to build upon. The evening was filled with laughter, delicious food, and heartfelt conversations. Surrounded by her family, Maya felt her spirits lift even higher. The hurtful encounter from earlier in the day seemed distant and insignificant in the face of the love and encouragement she received from her loved ones. Later that night, as she lay in bed with her new book resting on her chest, Maya reflected on the day's events. She knew that the man who had humiliated her was just one of many she might encounter in her life. But she also knew that his ignorance and prejudice could never define her. She was determined to rise above it, to keep moving forward with grace and strength. Maya closed her eyes, her mind filled with dreams of the future. She saw herself achieving her goals, breaking down barriers, and proving to the world, and to herself, that she was capable of greatness. And with that thought, she drifted off to sleep, ready to face whatever challenges the next day might bring. The morning sun cast a golden glow over the city, painting the skyline with hues of orange and pink. Maya awoke to the soft chirping of birds outside her window. She stretched, feeling the warmth of the sunlight on her skin, and took a moment to relish the tranquility of the morning. Today was a new day, and she was determined to make the most of it. After a quick shower, Maya dressed in a crisp white blouse and a pair of navy slacks. She looked at herself in the mirror, smoothing down her clothes and adjusting her hair. Her reflection showed a woman of strength and resolve, ready to face whatever the day had in store. She grabbed her bag, slipped on her comfortable flats, and headed out the door. The streets were already bustling with activity by the time Maya reached the subway station. She blended into the crowd, just another face in the sea of commuters. As she waited for her train, she couldn't help but replay the encounter from the previous day in her mind. The man's harsh words and dismissive attitude still stung, but Maya knew she couldn't dwell on it. She had more important things to focus on. The train arrived with a rush of air, and Maya boarded, finding a seat near the window. As the city blurred past, she pulled out her phone and opened a text message from Jasmine. "Good morning, superstar. Ready to conquer the world today?" Jasmine's message was accompanied by a series of motivational emojis. Maya smiled and quickly typed back, "Always. Thanks for the boost, Jazz. Let's catch up later." "Absolutely. Lunch at our usual spot?" "Perfect. See you then." Maya slipped her phone back into her bag and looked out the window, letting the rhythmic clatter of the train soothe her thoughts. She had a busy day ahead, filled with meetings and tasks, but she welcomed the challenge. Her work as a project manager at a nonprofit organization was demanding, but it was also deeply fulfilling. She loved knowing that her efforts were making a difference in the community. At her stop, Maya joined the flow of people exiting the train and made her way to her office building. The familiar sight of the tall, glass structure filled her with a sense of purpose. She greeted the security guard with a friendly nod and stepped into the elevator, riding up to the 10th floor. Her office was a small but comfortable space, adorned with motivational quotes and photos of her family and friends. Maya settled into her chair and began sorting through her emails, her mind focused on the tasks at hand. She was deep into her work when her supervisor, Mr. Thompson, knocked on her door. "Good morning, Maya. Do you have a moment to discuss the upcoming project?" he asked, his tone professional yet warm. "Of course, Mr. Thompson." "Come in," Maya replied, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. Mr. Thompson took a seat and laid a folder on her desk. "I've been reviewing your proposal for the new community outreach program, and I must say, I'm very impressed. Your attention to detail and your passion for the cause really shine through." Maya felt a swell of pride. "Thank you, sir. I'm very passionate about this project. I believe it has the potential to make a significant impact." Mr. Thompson nodded. I agree. That's why I want you to take the lead on this. Your vision and leadership are exactly what we need to make this a success. Maya's eyes widened in surprise. Really? I'd be honored to lead the project. Absolutely. You've earned it, Maya. Your hard work and dedication haven't gone unnoticed, he said with a smile. Let's discuss the next steps and how we can get the ball rolling. As they talked through the details, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. This project was an opportunity to bring about real change, and she was determined to make it a success. After Mr. Thompson left, she took a moment to savor the feeling of accomplishment. She knew that her journey had been challenging, but moments like this made it all worthwhile. The morning flew by in a blur of meetings and phone calls. By lunchtime, Maya was more than ready for a break. She grabbed her bag and headed to her favorite cafe, where she and Jasmine often met for lunch. The cafe was a cozy spot with a welcoming atmosphere, the perfect place to unwind and catch up with a friend. Jasmine was already there when Maya arrived, sitting at their usual table by the window. She waved enthusiastically as Maya approached. Hey, girl. How's your day going? Jasmine asked, her smile bright and infectious. Busy but good. I have some exciting news, Maya replied, taking a seat across from her. Oh? Do tell. Jasmine leaned in, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Maya recounted her conversation with Mr. Thompson, and Jasmine's grin grew wider with each word. That's amazing, Maya. I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. Thanks, Jazz. It feels really good to be recognized for my hard work. I'm excited but also a little nervous. There's so much to do. You've got this. Just take it one step at a time. And remember, you're not alone. I'm here for you every step of the way, Jasmine said, reaching across the table to squeeze Maya's hand. Their food arrived, and they spent the rest of their lunch break chatting about their plans and dreams. Jasmine's unwavering support was a constant source of strength for Maya, a reminder that she had a solid network of people who believed in her. After lunch, Maya returned to the office with a renewed sense of energy. She dove back into her work, her mind focused on the tasks at hand. The hours passed quickly, and before she knew it, the workday was over. As she packed up her things and prepared to leave, Maya took a moment to reflect on the day. It had been challenging, but it had also been filled with moments of triumph and support. She knew that there would be more obstacles ahead, but she felt ready to face them. Walking home, Maya felt a sense of peace settle over her. She knew who she was and what she was capable of. The man who had humiliated her was just a small blip in her journey, a reminder of the prejudices she had to overcome. But she was stronger than his words, and she was determined to rise above them. That evening, as she sat on her balcony with a cup of tea, Maya looked out at the city skyline and smiled. She had dreams to chase and goals to achieve, and she wasn't going to let anyone stand in her way. With a heart full of determination and a mind focused on the future, Maya was ready to keep moving forward, one step at a time. The days slipped by in a blur of activity. Maya was completely absorbed in her new project, spending long hours at the office and even more time planning and strategizing at home. Each day brought new challenges, but also new accomplishments, and she could feel the excitement building as the project began to take shape. One sunny afternoon, Maya decided to take a short break and grab a coffee from a nearby cafe. The cafe was a cozy little place with brick walls and wooden tables, and it had quickly become one of her favorite spots to unwind. She ordered her usual, an iced caramel latte, and found a seat by the window. As she sipped her drink and reviewed some notes, she noticed a familiar figure walking past the cafe. It was the man from the bookstore, the one who had humiliated her. Her heart skipped a beat, but she quickly composed herself, reminding herself that she had moved past that encounter. The man, whose name was Daniel, seemed oblivious to Maya's presence as he walked into the upscale restaurant across the street. He was dressed in an expensive suit, his posture exuding confidence and self-assuredness. Maya watched him for a moment, feeling a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Just as she was about to return to her notes, she saw something that made her pause. Daniel emerged from the restaurant, talking animatedly with another man. As they approached a sleek, black car parked at the curb, Daniel handed the keys to his companion and got into the passenger seat. Maya's eyes widened in surprise. She recognized the car. It was the same one her cousin Andre drove. Could it be that Daniel knew Andre? The thought intrigued her, and she couldn't help but watch as the car pulled away. Shaking her head, Maya returned to her work. She had more important things to focus on than a chance encounter with someone who had once been rude to her. Yet, the incident lingered in her mind, a puzzle she couldn't quite piece together. Later that evening, as Maya was heading home, she received a call from Andre. He sounded excited and invited her to dinner at a new restaurant he had been raving about. Eager to spend time with her cousin and take a break from her hectic schedule, Maya agreed. The restaurant was a chic, modern place with an elegant ambience. Andre was already there when Maya arrived, and he greeted her with a warm hug. "You look great, Maya. How's the project going?" Andre asked as they were seated at a corner table. "It's going well, but it's a lot of work. I'm really excited about it, though," Maya replied, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing things," Andre said with a smile. As they talked and enjoyed their meal, Maya couldn't shake the memory of seeing Daniel earlier that day. She decided to bring it up, curious about the connection. "Hey, Dre, I saw someone today who might know you. A guy named Daniel. He was getting into a car that looked just like yours," Maya said casually, watching her cousin's reaction. Andre raised an eyebrow. "Daniel? Oh, you must mean Daniel Thompson. He's the son of Mr. Thompson, the CEO of the company I work for. I had no idea you knew him." Maya's heart skipped a beat. Daniel Thompson. So, he was the son of her boss's boss. The pieces began to fall into place, and she realized why he had seemed so familiar. She had seen him at a company event a while back, but they hadn't spoken then. "I don't really know him," Maya said slowly. "We just had a brief encounter a while ago." Andre nodded. "Yeah, he's a bit of a character. Very confident, sometimes a bit too much. But he's got a good heart, I think. He's just, well, privileged." Maya couldn't help but think about their encounter at the bookstore. "Yeah, I got that impression," she said softly. Andre looked at her curiously. "Did something happen?" Maya hesitated, then decided to share the story. She recounted how Daniel had humiliated her, his cruel words still fresh in her mind. Andre listened, his expression growing more serious with each word. "That's unacceptable," Andre said firmly. "I'm sorry you had to go through that, Maya. No one should be treated that way, especially not you." "It's okay, Dre. I've moved past it. I just thought it was interesting that you knew him," Maya replied, offering a small smile. Andre shook his head. "It's not okay. People like him need to learn that their words and actions have consequences. Maybe you'll get a chance to show him that someday." Maya wasn't sure how she felt about that. Part of her wanted to confront Daniel, to make him understand the hurt he had caused. But another part of her knew that she didn't need his validation. She was strong and capable, and she didn't need to prove anything to anyone. As they finished their meal and said their goodbyes, Maya felt a sense of resolve settle over her. She couldn't control other people's actions, but she could control her own. She would continue to work hard, to pursue her dreams, and to live her life with dignity and grace. The next morning, Maya arrived at the office early, ready to tackle the day's tasks. She was reviewing some documents when Mr. Thompson, her supervisor, walked in with a young man in tow. "Maya, I'd like you to meet someone," Mr. Thompson said, his voice filled with pride. "This is my son, Daniel. He'll be working with us on the new project." Maya's breath caught in her throat. There he was, standing right in front of her, the man who had humiliated her at the bookstore. Daniel's eyes widened slightly as he recognized her, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. "It's nice to meet you, Maya," Daniel said, his tone polite but guarded. "Nice to meet you too, Daniel," Maya replied, keeping her voice steady. Mr. Thompson smiled. "I'm sure you two will work well together. Daniel has a lot to learn, and I know you'll be a great mentor, Maya." As Mr. Thompson left, Daniel and Maya stood there in an awkward silence. Finally, Daniel spoke, his voice low. "I didn't realize you worked here." "Small world, huh?" Maya nodded. "Yes, it is. Let's focus on the project and make sure it's a success." Daniel seemed to sense the underlying tension in her words, but he didn't push. "Agreed. I look forward to working with you, Maya." As they began to discuss the project, Maya couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. Life had a funny way of bringing people back together, and she wondered what lessons lay ahead for both of them. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of meetings, planning sessions, and late nights at the office. Maya and Daniel found themselves working closely together on the new community outreach project, their interactions initially strained but professional. Maya remained focused on the task at hand, determined not to let past grievances affect her work. Daniel, for his part, seemed eager to prove himself, diving into the project with an intensity that surprised her. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the city, Maya found herself alone in the conference room, reviewing some final details for an upcoming presentation. She was deep in thought when Daniel walked in, carrying a tray with 2 steaming cups of coffee. "Thought you might need a pick-me-up," he said, setting one of the cups in front of her. Maya looked up, startled. "Oh, thanks. I could definitely use it." Daniel took a seat across from her, his expression contemplative. "You've been working really hard on this project. I just wanted to say that I appreciate everything you've done." Maya offered a small smile. "Thanks, Daniel. It means a lot." There was a moment of silence, and then Daniel cleared his throat, his eyes meeting hers. "Maya, I need to talk to you about something." Maya's heart raced slightly. She had a feeling she knew what was coming, but she waited, letting him find his words. "I know we didn't start off on the right foot," Daniel began, his voice tinged with regret. "I was rude to you at the bookstore, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since I realized who you were." Maya's gaze softened, but she remained silent, giving him the space to continue. "I'm really sorry, Maya. I judged you unfairly, and I was completely out of line. There's no excuse for the way I treated you. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I realize now how much my privilege has blinded me to the realities other people face. I want to make things right." Maya took a deep breath, her emotions a mixture of relief and lingering hurt. "Daniel, your words did hurt me, but I appreciate your apology. It takes a lot to admit when you're wrong." Daniel nodded, looking genuinely remorseful. "I want to do better, Maya. Not just for this project, but in general. Working with you has opened my eyes to a lot of things I was ignorant about." Maya felt a sense of closure beginning to form. She had moved past the initial sting of his words, but hearing his sincere apology helped heal the wound. "Thank you for saying that, Daniel. I hope this experience helps you grow. It's not easy to confront our own biases." Their conversation shifted back to work, but the atmosphere between them had changed. There was a newfound respect and understanding, a recognition of each other's strengths and contributions. They spent the next few hours finalizing the presentation, their collaboration seamless and productive. The day of the presentation arrived, and Maya stood in front of a packed conference room, feeling a mixture of nerves and excitement. Mr. Thompson introduced her, praising her hard work and dedication. As she began speaking, she saw Daniel in the audience, his expression supportive and encouraging. Maya outlined their plans for the community outreach program, detailing the strategies they had developed to engage and support local residents. She spoke with passion and clarity, her confidence shining through. When she finished, the room erupted in applause, and she felt a wave of pride wash over her. Mr. Thompson took the stage again, beaming. "Excellent work, Maya. This project is going to make a significant impact, and we have you to thank for that." As the meeting concluded, people came up to congratulate her, and Maya felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Daniel approached, a genuine smile on his face. "You were amazing out there, Maya. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished together." "Thanks, Daniel. We make a pretty good team," she replied, her smile reflecting the camaraderie they had built. Over the next few weeks, the project began to take shape. Maya and Daniel continued to work closely, their partnership growing stronger. They met with community leaders, organized events, and saw the positive impact of their efforts firsthand. Maya felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that they were making a real difference. One afternoon, as they were wrapping up a meeting with local residents, Daniel turned to Maya, his expression thoughtful. "You know, this project has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It's taught me so much about myself and the world." Maya nodded. "I feel the same way. It's amazing to see the changes we're helping to create." Daniel hesitated for a moment, then spoke with sincerity. "Maya, you've taught me more than any book or class ever could. Your strength, resilience, and dedication are truly inspiring. I'm grateful for the chance to work with you and to learn from you." Maya felt a lump form in her throat, touched by his words. "Thank you, Daniel. I've learned a lot from you too. It's been a journey, but I think we've both grown a lot." As they left the meeting and walked back to the office, Maya felt a sense of closure. The man who had once humiliated her had become an ally, someone who had recognized his mistakes and worked to make amends. Their journey together had been unexpected, but it had brought about personal growth and a stronger understanding of each other's worlds. The project continued to thrive, and Maya and Daniel's professional relationship blossomed into a genuine friendship. They supported each other, celebrated each other's successes, and navigated challenges together. Through it all, Maya remained focused on her goals, knowing that her journey was far from over. One evening, as she sat on her balcony, reflecting on everything that had happened, Maya felt a sense of peace. She had faced adversity, but she had emerged stronger and more determined. She had learned that people could change, that understanding and empathy could bridge even the widest gaps. As the city lights twinkled in the distance, Maya smiled. She was ready for whatever came next, confident in her ability to face any challenge with grace and strength. And with that thought, she closed her eyes, embracing the journey ahead with an open heart. The project had exceeded all expectations. The community outreach program was thriving, thanks to the tireless efforts of Maya, Daniel, and their dedicated team. The success of the initiative brought Maya a sense of fulfillment she had never experienced before. But amidst the triumphs, Maya's thoughts often wandered to the deeper connections and changes she had witnessed, both within herself and in those around her. One bright morning, Maya and Daniel were preparing for a community event at a local park. The event was a celebration of the program's achievements and a thank you to all the residents who had participated and supported their efforts. As they set up tables and arranged decorations, Maya couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Daniel asked, his eyes scanning the bustling park. "It feels like just yesterday we were brainstorming ideas in that conference room." Maya smiled. "It's incredible. Seeing the community come together like this, knowing we've made a difference, it's all been worth it." Daniel nodded, his expression thoughtful. "You know, Maya, working on this project has been transformative for me. I've learned so much from you and from everyone involved. It's changed the way I see the world and my place in it." Maya looked at him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. "I'm glad to hear that, Daniel. You've grown a lot, and I'm proud of the person you've become." Before Daniel could respond, they were interrupted by the arrival of Mr. Thompson, who was beaming with pride. "Maya, Daniel, this is outstanding. The turnout is fantastic, and the energy here is incredible. You both should be very proud." "Thank you, Mr. Thompson," Maya replied. "It wouldn't have been possible without your support and the hard work of everyone involved." Mr. Thompson clapped Daniel on the back. "You've done well, son. I'm proud of you." As the event kicked off, Maya and Daniel mingled with the attendees, sharing stories and listening to the experiences of those who had benefited from the program. The park was alive with laughter and conversation, a testament to the positive impact of their work. Later in the day, as the festivities began to wind down, Daniel approached Maya with a thoughtful expression. "Can we talk for a moment?" "Of course," Maya replied, following him to a quieter spot under a large oak tree. Daniel took a deep breath. "Maya, I want you to know how much your forgiveness has meant to me. I was so blinded by my own privilege and biases, and you opened my eyes to a world I didn't fully understand. You've shown me the power of empathy and the importance of treating everyone with respect." Maya felt a lump in her throat. "Daniel, I appreciate your words. It wasn't easy for me to move past what happened, but seeing the changes in you has made it worthwhile. We all have room to grow and learn." Daniel nodded, his eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and determination. "I want to continue growing and making a difference. I want to be someone who contributes positively to the world, just like you." Touched by his sincerity, Maya reached out and took his hand. "You're already on that path, Daniel. Just keep moving forward, one step at a time." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Maya and Daniel rejoined the group, their hearts lighter and their spirits higher. The event concluded with a heartfelt speech from Maya, thanking everyone for their support and dedication. The applause that followed was a symphony of appreciation and unity. In the weeks that followed, Maya and Daniel continued to work closely, but there was a new sense of ease and camaraderie between them. Their friendship grew stronger, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to making a difference. They celebrated each milestone and supported each other through challenges, knowing they were better together. One evening, as they were wrapping up a long day at the office, Daniel turned to Maya with a thoughtful expression. "Maya, there's something I've been meaning to ask you." "Sure, what's on your mind?" Maya replied, looking up from her notes. "I've been thinking about starting my own nonprofit," Daniel said, his voice steady but tinged with excitement. "I want to continue the work we've started here, but on a larger scale. And I'd love for you to be a part of it." Maya was taken aback, but in a good way. "Daniel, that's an amazing idea. I'd be honored to work with you on something like that. What's your vision?" Daniel's eyes lit up as he outlined his plans. He wanted to create an organization that focused on education and empowerment, providing resources and support to underserved communities. It was ambitious, but Maya could see the passion and commitment in his eyes. "I'm all in," Maya said, her heart swelling with excitement. "Let's do this together." As they began planning their new venture, Maya felt a sense of fulfillment and purpose that was even greater than before. She knew that their journey was just beginning, and that there were many challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Daniel by her side. The official launch of their nonprofit was a grand affair, attended by community leaders, supporters, and friends. Maya stood on the stage, looking out at the crowd, feeling a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. She had come a long way from that day at the bookstore, and she knew that her journey was far from over. As she took the microphone to speak, she glanced at Daniel, who nodded encouragingly. "Thank you all for being here today," she began. "This organization is a testament to what we can achieve when we come together with a shared vision and a commitment to making a difference. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but I believe that together, we can create a brighter future for everyone." The applause was thunderous, and as Maya looked out at the faces of those who believed in their mission, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. She had faced adversity, but she had emerged stronger, surrounded by people who shared her dreams and her determination. As the event concluded and the crowd began to disperse, Maya and Daniel stood side by side, watching the sunset paint the sky with vibrant colors. "We've come a long way," Daniel said, his voice filled with emotion. "We have," Maya agreed, feeling a deep sense of contentment. And there's so much more to do. With a shared smile, they turned to face the future, ready to embrace whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead. Together, they knew they could achieve anything, and they were ready to make their mark on the world. As the last light of day faded, Maya felt a sense of peace and purpose. She had found her path, and she was ready to walk it with confidence, knowing that she was never alone. With her heart full and her spirit strong, she stepped forward into the next chapter of her journey, ready to create a legacy of hope and change.